Dr. Jaiwin Kim rubbed her tired eyes and looked at the clock on her laboratory wall. It was nearly midnight on the human research station that floated quietly in the space between star systems. She had been working for 16 hours straight, studying alien plant samples from a distant moon. Her coffee had gone cold hours ago, but she kept working anyway. The station was peaceful at this hour. Most of the crew had gone to sleep. The silence broke suddenly. Red lights flashed across her computer screen. The laboratory door hissed open without warning. Jaiwin jumped from her chair, her heart racing. The station security system should have locked all doors at this hour. Nobody could enter without permission. She reached for the emergency alarm button on her desk. Then she saw him. A small creature stood in the doorway. He was barely 4 feet tall. His scales were a dull gray color, like ash from an old fire. 2 small wings hung limply from his back. His large golden eyes stared at her with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. He was a Drackery, one of the dragon-like aliens from the mining colonies near the Outer Rim. But he was just a child. Jaiwin's hand moved away from the alarm. The child was trembling. His clawed hands clutched something small against his chest. He took one careful step into the laboratory, then another. His tail dragged behind him on the clean white floor. "Please," the child said in broken human language. His voice was small and scared. "Please help. You are the doctor of memories, yes?" Jaiwin lowered herself slowly, trying not to frighten him. She had studied many alien species, but she had never seen a Drackery child before. They rarely left their colony worlds. The adult stood over 8 feet tall with wings that could span 15 feet. This little one looked so fragile and lost. "Yes, I study memories," Jaiwin said gently. "How did you get here? Where are your parents?" The child's eyes filled with tears. His scales seemed to grow even duller. "No parents. They died 3 years ago. Only had brother. Only had Miho." He said the name like it was the most precious word in the universe. His voice cracked when he spoke it. Jaiwin felt her chest tighten. She knew that kind of pain in a child's voice. "Where is your brother now?" she asked, though she already feared the answer. The small dragon child opened his hands. In his palms lay a small device about the size of a human fist. It was made of dark metal with crystal panels that should have glowed with light, but the crystals were cracked and dark. Scorch marks covered one side. The device looked like it had been through an explosion. "This is Miho," the child whispered. "This is all that is left." Jaiwin recognized the device immediately. It was a Drackery memory core, a device their people used to record important moments and information. But this was different. The size and complexity suggested something far more advanced. This wasn't just a recording device. This was a complete neural storage unit. "What is your name?" Jaiwin asked softly. "Taeyong," the child answered. "My name is Taeyong." "Taeyong, this device is very badly damaged. How did this happen?" Taeyong's whole body shook. "Mining accident. Big explosion on our colony. Rock fell. Fire everywhere. Miho pushed me away. Saved me. But he—" The child couldn't finish. Tears rolled down his scaly cheeks. Jaiwin reached out slowly and put her hand on Taeyong's shoulder. The child didn't pull away. Instead, he leaned into her touch like he was starving for kindness. "Miho was very brave," Jaiwin said. "He loved you very much." "Yes," Taeyong nodded. "He was the best brother. After parents died, he took care of me, worked in the mines, taught me to fly, taught me to read, taught me everything." He held up the broken device again. "Before accident, Miho put himself in here. Said if anything happened, I would still have him. But now it doesn't work. It's broken." The child looked up at Jaiwin with those large golden eyes. The hope in them was painful to see. "I traveled very far," Taeyong said. 3 star systems. Sneaked onto cargo ships. Went hungry many days. Other Drackery said memories lost are lost forever. But I heard stories about humans. Stories that humans can fix anything. That humans do impossible things. That humans work miracles with technology and memories." He pressed the broken device toward Jaiwin. His hands were shaking so hard that the device nearly fell. Jaiwan caught it gently and held it carefully. Please, Taeyong begged. Can you make him work again? Those words hit Jaiwan like a physical blow. The child didn't understand. He thought fixing the device would bring his brother back. He was too young to understand death. Too young to understand that memories were just echoes of people who were gone. Jaiwan looked down at the damaged memory core in her hands. She had spent 15 years studying memory technology. She had recovered data from devices that other experts said were impossible to fix. She had helped hundreds of people recover precious memories they thought were lost forever. But she had never attempted anything like this. The damage was severe. The technology was alien to her. And even if she succeeded, she would have to help this child understand that his brother was truly gone. But she looked at Taeyang's face and knew she had to try. I will examine it, Jaiwan said carefully. I cannot promise anything. The damage is very bad, but I will do my best. Taeyang's scales suddenly brightened just a little. The dull gray became slightly more silver. A tiny spark of hope lit in his eyes. He smiled, showing small, sharp teeth. It was the saddest and most hopeful smile Jaiwan had ever seen. Thank you, Taeyong said. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He hugged her suddenly, his small arms wrapping around her waist. His wings fluttered weakly. Jaiwan hugged him back, feeling how thin and small he was. This child had traveled across the galaxy alone, driven by love for his brother. He had somehow bypassed the station's security systems, something that should have been impossible for anyone, let alone a child. You must be very tired and hungry, Jaiwan said. When did you last eat? Taeyong thought about it. 2 days ago. Maybe 3. I don't remember. Jaiwan's heart broke a little more. She stood up, still holding the memory core carefully. Come. First we get you food. Then you need to sleep. Tomorrow I will begin working on this. But Taeyong, you need to understand something. The child looked up at her. Even if I can fix this device and recover the memories inside, it won't bring Miho back. Do you understand? Your brother is gone. This device holds only memories of him. Recordings of who he was. Not Miho himself. Taeyong nodded, but Jaiwan could see he didn't truly understand. Or maybe he understood, but couldn't accept it. Not yet. Can you make him work again? Taeyong asked one more time, his voice so small and full of desperate need. Jaiwan looked at the broken device, then at the child who had crossed the stars to find hope. She thought about her own younger brother, who had died 10 years ago. She thought about how she would have done anything, traveled anywhere, to hear his voice one more time. I will try, she promised. I will try with everything I have. She didn't know it then, but those words would change everything. Not just for Taeyong, not just for the memory of Miho, but for the entire station and everyone aboard it. Sometimes the smallest voices ask the biggest questions. Sometimes a child's desperate hope can move mountains, cross galaxies, and remind humans why they reach for the stars in the first place. To help, to heal, to make broken things work again. In whatever way they could. The morning light from a nearby star filtered through the station's windows. Taeyong woke up on a soft bed in the medical bay. For a moment, he forgot where he was. Then everything came rushing back. The long journey, the human doctor, the promise to try. He jumped from the bed, his wings fluttering nervously. Where was Miho's memory core? Had it been a dream? His heart raced with panic until he saw Dr. Jaiwan, standing near a large table covered with strange human tools and machines. The memory core sat in the center, connected to dozens of thin wires. Good morning, Taeyong, Jaiwan said without looking up. Her eyes were fixed on a screen showing patterns and numbers he didn't understand. I started working early. I hope you slept well. Taeyong walked closer, his tail swishing behind him. Did you sleep? Jaiwan smiled a tired smile. A little. I was too curious about this device to sleep much. She pointed to a chair. Sit here. I want to show you something. A tall human man entered the laboratory. He had kind eyes and wore a uniform covered in oil stains. He carried a box full of more tools and equipment. This is Engineer Hyunwoo Lee, Jaiwan explained. He is the best technology expert on this station. I asked him to help us. Hyunwoo set down his box and knelt to be at eye level with Taeyong. "Hello, little one. Dr. Jaiwin told me about your brother. I am very sorry for your loss. We will do everything we can to help." Taeyang's scales brightened a little. 2 humans were helping him now. Maybe the stories about humans were true. Maybe they really could do the impossible. "The damage is worse than I thought," Jaiwin said honestly. "The memory core was exposed to extreme heat and pressure. Many of the data crystals are fractured. But there is good news, too. The core structure is intact. That means the memories are still inside. They're just locked away behind the damage. Can you get them out?" Taeyong asked, his voice shaking. Hyunwoo nodded. "We can try. It will take time. We have to be very careful. If we work too fast or make mistakes, we could destroy what's left." For 3 days they worked. Taeyong never left the laboratory. He slept in a corner on a pile of blankets that Jaiwin brought for him. He watched the 2 humans work for hours and hours. They spoke in technical terms he didn't understand, but he could see they were being very careful. Their hands moved slowly and precisely over Miho's memory core. Other crew members started visiting. Captain Doyen Park came first. He was a serious man with gray hair and a stern face. He talked to Jaiwin outside the laboratory, and Taeyong could hear their voices through the door. "We should contact the Drakri government," the captain said. "That child traveled here illegally. His family must be worried." "He has no family," Jaiwin replied quietly. "Only his brother, and his brother is dead. Please, give us a few more days. We're making progress." The captain looked through the window at Taeyong, who quickly pretended not to be listening. After a long moment, the captain sighed. 1 week, then we have to follow proper procedures." On the 4th day, something amazing happened. Hyunwoo connected a power source to one of the repaired circuits. Suddenly, a hologram flickered to life above the memory core. It was fuzzy and kept breaking apart, but Taeyong could see a figure, a tall Drakri with bright silver scales and strong wings. "Miho!" Taeyong cried out. The hologram couldn't hear him. It was just a recording, a fragment of memory. But Taeyong could see his brother moving, could almost hear his voice through the static. The image showed Miho in their small home on the colony. He was cooking something over a fire. Then the hologram changed. Now it showed Miho teaching a much smaller Taeyong how to spread his wings. The memory Miho was patient and encouraging. "You can do it, little brother. Don't be afraid. I will catch you if you fall." Taeyong felt tears running down his face. He reached toward the hologram, but his hands passed through it like smoke. "Miho," he whispered. Jaiwin put her hand on his shoulder. "We're recovering the memories piece by piece. Every day we find more. Your brother recorded many things." More crew members came to watch as the recovered memories played in the laboratory. A kind woman named Counselor Yunji Nam started visiting every day. She would sit with Taeyong and talk to him gently about his feelings. She explained that it was okay to be sad. That grief was normal. That missing someone didn't mean you were weak. "Do you want to talk about Miho?" Yunji asked one afternoon. Taeyong nodded. "He was the best brother in the whole galaxy. When our parents died in a cave collapse, Miho was only 12. But he didn't let anyone take me away. He worked in the mines, even though he was too young. He made sure I had food every day. He taught me everything I know." "He sounds very special," Yunji said softly. "He was." Taeyong agreed. "That's why I need him to work again. Without him, I don't know how to live." Yunji looked sad when he said that, but she didn't tell him he was wrong. She just held his hand quietly. More memories emerged from the core. Each one was a treasure. Taeyong watched Miho reading books to him when he was very small. He saw Miho defending him from older children who bullied him. He saw birthday celebrations, quiet evenings by the fire, and flying lessons under the colony's purple sky. But then they found something different, a memory from the day of the accident. The hologram showed the inside of a mine. Alarms were blaring. Drakri miners were running and screaming. Rock was falling from the ceiling. Fire was spreading through the tunnels. Taeyong wanted to look away, but he couldn't. He watched his brother in the chaos. Miho wasn't running toward the exit. He was running deeper into the mine, toward the trapped miners. There were humans there too, Taeyong realized. Human miners working alongside the Drackery. The memory showed Miho using his strong wings to shield others from falling rocks. He was directing people toward a safe passage. This way. Hurry! The support beam won't hold much longer. Taeyong counted the people running past Miho. 10, 20, 30. More and more miners escaping because Miho was holding a cracking support beam with his own body. His wings spread wide to catch the falling stones. Then the memory cut to darkness. But before it ended, Taeyong heard his brother's voice, clear and strong. Get them out. Don't worry about me. Just get them out. The laboratory was completely silent. Jaiwon had tears in her eyes. Hyunwoo stood with his hand over his mouth. Even Captain Doyen, who had come to check on their progress, looked shaken. He saved 47 people. Hyunwoo said quietly, checking the data. According to the mine records, 47 miners survived that collapse. 12 of them were human. They all said someone held a support beam long enough for them to escape. But the tunnel collapsed before they could see who it was. Taeyong stared at the now-dark hologram projector. He had known Miho died saving people. But seeing it, watching his brother choose to stay behind, made it real in a way it hadn't been before. He was a hero, Captain Doyen said, his voice rough. He looked at Taeyong with new respect. Your brother was a true hero. That night, the captain called a crew meeting. Taeyong wasn't there, but Jaiwon told him about it later. The captain had wanted to send Taeyong home, to follow regulations. But after seeing Miho's sacrifice, after learning that it saved human lives, the crew voted unanimously. Taeyong could stay as long as needed. Your brother saved our people. Jaiwon explained to Taeyong. Now we will honor him by helping his little brother. Taeyong felt something shift inside his chest. The pain of loss was still there, sharp and deep. But now there was something else too. Pride. His brother had been brave and selfless until the very end. Miho had lived the way he always told Taeyong, to live with courage, with kindness, and by protecting others. Can we see more memories? Taeyong asked quietly. I want to know everything. I want to see all of it. Jaiwon nodded. We'll recover every memory we can. I promise you that. As the days passed, the laboratory became a shrine to Miho's life. Every recovered memory was a gift, and Taeyong began to understand something important. His brother wasn't really gone. Not completely. He lived on in these memories, in the lessons he had taught, and in the love he had given freely. 2 weeks had passed since Taeyong arrived at the station. The laboratory had become his second home. He knew every tool, every machine, every blinking light. He watched Dr. Jaiwon and engineer Hyunwoo work with patience he didn't know he had. Each day brought new fragments of Miho back to life through the recovered memories. Jaiwon sat at her main computer, studying streams of data flowing across multiple screens. Hyunwoo stood beside her, pointing at something that made them both excited. Taeyong could tell from their body language that they had found something important. Taeyong, come here. Jaiwon called, her voice filled with wonder. We've discovered something extraordinary. Taeyong rushed over, his claws clicking on the floor. His wings fluttered nervously. What is it? More memories? Much more than memories, Hyunwoo said. He pulled up a three-dimensional model on the screen. It showed the internal structure of the memory core, with millions of tiny connections lighting up like stars. Your brother didn't just record memories. He created something far more advanced. Jaiwon turned to face Taeyong, her expression serious. Miho built an artificial intelligence into this core, a program based on his own personality, his knowledge, his way of thinking. It's unlike anything I've ever seen from Drackery technology. Taeyong didn't understand all the technical words, but he understood the important part. You mean Miho made a copy of himself? A copy that could think and talk. Not exactly a copy, Jaiwon explained carefully. More like an echo. A program designed to interact with you, to continue teaching and protecting you even after he was gone. We found hidden files showing he worked on this for over a year. He was teaching himself human programming languages, studying artificial intelligence theory, all in secret. Hyunwoo brought up another screen showing lines of code. He was incredibly smart. This code is beautiful, complex but elegant, He designed it specifically for you, Taeyong. There are teaching modules, safety protocols, even personality subroutines that would let the AI respond to you the way the real Miho would have. Taeyang's heart beat faster. Can you make it work? Can you turn it on? The two humans exchanged uncertain looks. That's when Taeyong noticed the tension in the room had changed. Something was wrong. We can activate it, Jaiwin said slowly. We've repaired enough of the core structure. But Taeyong, we need to talk about whether we should. Why wouldn't we? Taeyong asked, confused. Miho made it for me. He wanted this. Captain Doyen entered the laboratory at that moment, followed by Counselor Yunji and 3 other crew members. They all looked serious. The captain crossed his arms and leaned against the wall. We've been discussing the situation, the captain said, and the crew is divided. Yunji sat down next to Taeyong, her face kind but concerned. Taeyong, creating an AI from a dead person's memories is a very complicated thing. Different people have different beliefs about whether it's right or wrong. I don't understand, Taeyong said, looking around at all the serious faces. Miho made this for me. Why is there a problem? Jaiwin took a deep breath. Some people believe that making an AI copy of someone who died is disrespectful to their memory. They think it's trying to replace the real person with a fake version. Others worry that it could prevent you from properly grieving and moving forward. A crew member named Juno spoke up. He was young and had kind eyes. When my father died, I wanted to keep him alive any way I could. I watched his old videos constantly, listened to his voice recordings over and over. It made it harder to accept he was really gone. I'm worried this AI might do the same thing to you. But another crew member, an older woman named Sora, disagreed. That's different. This AI was specifically created by Miho as his final gift to his brother. Who are we to say he can't receive it? Miho clearly wanted this. The debate grew louder. Some crew members thought it was a beautiful way to preserve Miho's legacy. Others thought it was unhealthy and wrong. They argued about ethics, about grief, about what the dead would want, about what was best for a child. Taeyong listened to them argue, feeling smaller and smaller. They were talking about him and Miho like they knew better than he did, like they understood his pain better than he did. Stop! Taeyong shouted suddenly. His voice was louder than he intended. Everyone went quiet and turned to look at him. You're all talking about what you think is right, but nobody asked me what I want. Nobody asked Miho what he wanted either, except Miho already told us by making this. Tears ran down his face. His scales had turned dark gray again. I traveled across 3 star systems to get here. I went hungry. I was scared and alone. I came to humans because I heard you could do amazing things. But now you're telling me you won't help because you're worried about your human rules and human feelings. The laboratory was silent. Even Captain Doyen looked uncomfortable. Counselor Yunji spoke gently. Taeyong, we're trying to protect you. I don't need protection from my brother. Taeyong cried. I need my brother, or the closest thing to him I can have. Don't you understand? Miho knew he might die. The mines were dangerous. So he spent a whole year learning and building and creating this gift for me, a year of his life, working in secret, just so I wouldn't be alone. And now you want to throw away his gift because it makes you uncomfortable? Jaiwin wiped her eyes. She had been quiet during the debate, but now she stood up. He's right. We've been so focused on our own beliefs and concerns that we forgot this isn't about us. She walked to her computer and pulled up a file. I found something last night, a message hidden deep in the core's programming. It's addressed to whoever might find this device. She read from the screen. My name is Miho. If you are reading this, I am probably dead. I created this AI because I cannot bear the thought of my little brother, Taeyong, being alone. He is only 8 years old. He has already lost our parents. If he loses me too, he will have nobody. This AI is not meant to replace me. It is meant to continue the one job I care about most, keeping my brother safe and helping him grow into the strong, kind person I know he can be. To whoever finds this, please help him. Please don't let my last gift to him be destroyed by good intentions. The room was completely silent except for quiet crying. Even Captain Doyen had tears in his eyes. Sora wiped her face with her sleeve. Juno stared at the floor. There's more, Jaiwin continued. Miho included safety protocols. The AI is designed to gradually reduce its interactions as Taeyong grows older and more independent. It's not meant to be a permanent replacement. It's meant to be a bridge, helping Taeyong until he's strong enough to stand on his own. Hyunwoo nodded, studying the code. He thought of everything. The AI will encourage Taeyong to make friends, to study, to live his own life. It's designed to fade away naturally over time, like training wheels on a bicycle. Captain Doyen pushed off on the wall and walked to the center of the room. I've been in command of this station for 12 years. I've made thousands of decisions. Some easy, some hard. This is one of the hardest. He looked directly at Taeyong. But it's not my decision to make. It's yours. You're young, but you're old enough to choose. Do you want us to activate this AI? Taeyong wiped his eyes. He thought about everything he had learned over the past 2 weeks. He thought about the memories he had watched, seeing Miho's love and sacrifice over and over. He thought about how Miho had always believed in him, always trusted him to make good choices. Yes, Taeyong said firmly. I want to meet the part of my brother that he left for me. I know it won't really be Miho. I'm not stupid. But it's what Miho wanted to give me, and I want to receive it. Yunji smiled through her tears. That's very mature of you, Taeyong. Then it's settled, Captain Doyen said. Dr. Jaiwin, Engineer Hyunwoo, proceed with the activation when you're ready. The crew members filed out slowly, some still wiping their eyes. Only Jaiwin, Hyunwoo, Yunji, and the captain remained with Taeyong. Jaiwin and Hyunwoo returned to their computers and began the final preparations. This will take about an hour, Hyunwoo explained. We need to carefully initialize all the systems and make sure everything is stable. Taeyong nodded and sat down to wait. His whole body trembled with anticipation and fear. Soon he would hear Miho's voice again, not just in a memory, but speaking to him directly. The thought filled him with joy and terror in equal measure. He was about to meet his brother's final gift, and nothing would ever be the same again. The hour felt like a year. Taeyong watched every movement Jaiwin and Hyunwoo made. They typed commands into computers, checked readings on screens, and adjusted connections on the memory core. The device that had been dark and lifeless for so long now glowed with soft blue light. The cracked crystals had been replaced with new ones. The scorch marks had been cleaned away. It looked almost new. We're ready, Jaiwin finally said. Her hand hovered over the activation button. Taeyong, are you sure? Taeyong nodded, not trusting his voice. His heart hammered in his chest, so hard he thought everyone could hear it. Jaiwin pressed a button. At first, nothing happened. Then the blue light grew brighter. The air above the memory core shimmered like heat waves on a hot day. A figure began to form in the holographic projection space. It was fuzzy at first, just a vague shape. Then it became clearer and clearer. Miho appeared. He was exactly as Taeyong remembered, tall and strong with bright silver scales that caught the light. His wings were folded neatly against his back. His golden eyes were warm and kind. He wore the simple work clothes he always wore, with patches on the knees from kneeling in the mines. But he wasn't moving. He stood completely still, like a statue made of light. Taeyong held his breath. Then Miho blinked. His eyes focused. He looked around the laboratory with curiosity, taking the human equipment and the humans themselves. Finally, his gaze landed on Taeyong. His expression changed instantly to one of pure love and relief. Taeyong, Miho said. His voice was exactly right. Exactly as Taeyong remembered. Little brother. You're okay. Thank the stars, you're okay. Taeyong couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. He just stared at his brother, standing there like he had never left. I know this must be confusing, Miho continued gently. I know I'm not really your brother anymore. I'm just a program, a collection of his memories and personality. But I'm here for you, just like the real Miho wanted. He made me to take care of you. Miho, Taeyong whispered. Then louder, Miho. He ran forward, but his hands passed through the hologram just like before. Miho looked sad, but not surprised. He knelt down at Taeyang's height, his holographic form moving naturally and smoothly. "I wish I could hug you," Miho said softly. "The real me would have given anything for one more hug. But this is what we have, and we'll make it work. We always make things work, don't we?" Taeyong nodded, tears streaming down his face. "I missed you so much." "I know. I'm sorry I had to leave you, but you've been so brave. Look how far you traveled to find help. Look how strong you become. I'm so proud of you." They talked for hours. Miho asked about Taeyang's journey, praised his courage, and gently scolded him for going hungry and taking such risks. It felt exactly like talking to the real Miho. The AI knew all the same memories. It had the same mannerisms, the same way of tilting his head when he listened, the same small smile when Taeyong said something clever. Jaiwen and the others watched quietly from the side, giving them space. Captain Doyen had left to file reports, but he looked thoughtful as he went. The next morning, alarms blared throughout the station. Taeyong woke up startled from his sleeping corner. Jaiwen rushed to the window and looked out at the space beyond. "We have visitors," she said quietly. A large Drackery ship had appeared outside the station. It was 3 times bigger than the human research station, with wings like a massive bird. The traditional markings of the Drackery government decorated its hull. Captain Doyen's voice came over the intercom. "All crew to stations. We have a diplomatic situation. Dr. Jaiwen, please bring Taeyong to the conference room." Taeyong felt fear grip his chest. "They came for me. They're going to take me home." The Miho AI, which had been deactivated overnight to save power, flickered back to life. "Don't be afraid. Whatever happens, you can handle it. You're stronger than you know." In the conference room, Captain Doyen stood with several crew members. Through the large window, they could see the Drackery ship. A shuttle had detached from it and was approaching the station. "They sent a diplomatic message," the captain explained. "They want Taeyong returned immediately. They also demand we hand over the memory core. They say what we're doing violates Drackery laws about death and memory." Taeyang's scales went pale. "No, please, not yet. I just got him back." Jaiwen put her hand on his shoulder. "We'll figure this out." 20 minutes later, 3 Drackery entered the conference room. The first was a tall male in official robes. He introduced himself as Ambassador Seekjin, and his eyes were cold and disapproving. Behind him stood 2 guards. But it was a third figure that made Taeyong gasp. An elderly female Drackery with deep blue scales that faded with age. Her wings were smaller now, folded carefully against her back, but her eyes were sharp and knowing. "Grandmother," Taeyong whispered. Elder Youngmi moved past the ambassador and went straight to Taeyong. She knelt down with some difficulty and cupped his face in her clawed hands. "My grandson, you foolish, brave, wonderful child. Do you have any idea how worried I've been?" "I'm sorry, grandmother," Taeyong said, "but I had to. I had to try to save him." Yumi's eyes filled with tears. "I know. You have Miho's stubbornness and his loving heart." She stood up and turned to face the humans. "I am Youngmi, elder of the mining colony and grandmother to these boys. I apologize for any trouble Taeyong has caused." "He's caused no trouble," Captain Doyen said firmly. "He brought us an opportunity to help, and we were honored to do so." Ambassador Seekjin stepped forward. His voice was harsh. "You had no right to interfere with Drackery matters. Our laws are clear. When someone dies, their memory cores are sealed and buried with honor. They are not to be tampered with. And they certainly are not to be used for creating artificial copies of the dead. This is sacrilege." "With respect, Ambassador," Jaiwen said carefully, "Miho created this AI himself before he died. We only repaired what was damaged. We didn't create anything new. That makes it worse." Seekjin snapped. "Miho violated our sacred laws, and now you've helped complete his violation. The memory core must be destroyed, and this abomination of an AI must be deactivated permanently." "No!" Taeyong shouted. "You can't. It's all I have left of him." Elder Youngmi raised her hand for silence. Everyone stopped talking. Despite her age and small size, she commanded respect. Ambassador Seachin, I appreciate your dedication to our laws. But there are things you don't know, things I need to share. She turned to Captain Doyen. May I see this AI they created? The captain nodded. Jaiwin activated projector she had brought to the conference room. Miho's hologram appeared, looking uncertain and worried. Youngmi stared at the AI for a long moment. Her expression was unreadable. Then, to everyone's surprise, she smiled. Hello, Miho, or the part of him that remains. You look just like your grandfather did at your age. The AI bowed respectfully. Elder Youngmi, I'm sorry for any dishonor I may have brought to our family. Dishonor? Youngmi laughed, a sound like wind chimes. My boy, there is no dishonor in love. Let me tell you all something that few people know. I was the one who gave Miho the books on human technology. I was the one who encouraged him to study artificial intelligence. Ambassador Seachin looked shocked. Elder, you admit to helping him break our laws? Our laws were written hundreds of years ago, Youngmi said firmly, before we knew humans existed, before we understood that other species had different ways of honoring their dead. Miho came to me 2 years ago, worried about what would happen to Taeyong if he died in the mines that killed his parents, the mines that kill someone nearly every year. He asked me if there was any way to make sure Taeyong would still have guidance. She looked at each person in the room. I told him about human artificial intelligence, about their belief that love and knowledge can be preserved in new forms. I told him it would be controversial, maybe even illegal by our standards. But I also told him that sometimes love is more important than law. This is outrageous, Seachin began, but Youngmi silenced him with a look. I am an elder. I have that right to speak. And I say this. Miho died saving 47 lives. 12 of those were humans. He is a hero. His final act was one of ultimate sacrifice. And his final gift to his brother was this AI, created with love and careful thought. Who are we to destroy it? Who are we to tell a child he cannot receive his brother's last gift? The room was silent. Ambassador Seachin looked angry, but he couldn't argue with an elder's authority. Captain Doyen spoke up. We have a proposal. Let Taeyong keep the AI. Let him return home with it. Give him 1 month to say goodbye properly, to receive the teachings and comfort his brother intended. After that month, the choice of what to do with the AI will be Taeyang's alone. Youngmi nodded slowly. That seems fair. Ambassador Seachin clearly didn't like it, but he was outnumbered and outranked. 1 month. But then the boy comes home, and this matter is closed. We cannot have our young people thinking they can simply ignore our traditions. Agreed, Youngmi said. She turned to Taeyong and smiled. Come, grandson, let's go home. You, me, and the echo of your brother. We have much to talk about. Taeyong looked at Jaiwin, Hyunwoo, Captain Doyen, and all the humans who had helped him. Thank you. Thank you for everything. You're welcome, brave one, Jaiwin said, hugging him carefully. Remember what your brother taught you, and remember that humans will always be your friends. As Taeyong prepared to leave, he felt strange. He was going home. He had Miho or part of him, but now he had to face the hardest question of all. What would he do when the month ended? The mining colony looked the same as when Taeyong had left it, but everything felt different. The small houses carved into the rocky hillside, the purple sky with its 3 moons, the sound of mining equipment in the distance. He was home, but home felt strange now. Elder Youngmi's house was warm and filled with the smell of cooking food. She had prepared all of Taeyang's favorite meals. For the first 3 days, she just let him rest and eat and recover from his long journey. The Miho AI stayed deactivated, giving Taeyong time to adjust. On the 4th day, Youngmi sat with him in the garden. Are you ready to activate him again? Taeyong nodded. He had been waiting, but he had also been afraid. Afraid that being home would make everything feel too real. That seeing the AI in the place where the real Miho had lived would be too painful. Youngmi activated the memory core. Miho's hologram appeared, looking around the familiar garden with wonder and sadness. Home, he said softly. I never thought I'd see it again, even like this. Over the next weeks, Taeyong spent every day with the AI. They talked about everything. Miho taught him advanced mathematics that he would need for school. He told stories about their parents that Taeyong had been too young to remember. He gave advice about making friends and being brave and staying true to himself. But Miho also did something else. He talked honestly about what he was and what he wasn't. "I'm not your real brother," he would say gently. "I'm a tool he made to help you. Don't forget that, Taeyong. The real Miho is gone, and you need to grieve him properly." Other young Drakri from the colony started visiting. They had heard about Taeyang's journey and wanted to meet the child who had traveled across the galaxy. At first, Taeyong was shy, but Miho encouraged him. "Go play with them. Make friends. I'll still be here later." A young dragon named Kaiwan became Taeyang's first real friend. They flew together through the canyon. They explored old mining tunnels that had been abandoned. They studied together. And slowly, Taeyong realized he was laughing again. Really laughing, not just pretending to be okay. The month passed quickly. Too quickly. As the final day approached, Taeyong felt the weight of the decision crushing him. What should he do with the AI? Keep it forever? Destroy it as the ambassador wanted? He didn't know. On the last evening, Elder Youngmi called him to her study. Ambassador Seekjin was there, along with several colony elders. Captain Doyen appeared on a video screen, having joined the meeting remotely from a human station. "Tomorrow is the day you must decide," Ambassador Seekjin said. His voice was less harsh than before, but still firm. "What will you do with the artificial intelligence?" Taeyong looked at all the serious faces around him. Then he asked for the Miho AI to be activated one last time. The hologram appeared, standing calmly in the center of the room. "Miho," Taeyong said quietly, "what do you think I should do?" The AI smiled sadly. "I think you already know, little brother. You've grown so much in just 1 month. You're making friends. You're studying hard. You're learning to live again. That's what the real Miho wanted for you. Not for you to spend your life talking to a ghost." "But I don't want to lose you again," Taeyong said, his voice breaking. "You won't lose me. You'll never lose me. I live in your memories, in the lessons I taught you, in the way you treat others with kindness, because that's how I treated you. The real Miho will always be part of who you are." The AI paused. "But this program, this artificial version, it's time to let it go. You don't need it anymore." Tears ran down Taeyang's face. "I'm scared to be alone." "You're not alone," Miho said gently. "You have grandmother. You have Kaiwan and your other new friends. You have the humans at the station who think about you. You have an entire galaxy of people who heard your story and were inspired by your courage. And most importantly, you have yourself. You're strong enough now to stand on your own." Elder Youngmi spoke up. "Taeyong, I have a proposal. What if we didn't destroy the AI, but transformed it, changed it into something that could help others?" Everyone turned to look at her. She continued, "Miho died saving 47 miners. He died because our mine safety protocols aren't good enough. What if we took this AI, this echo of Miho, and used it to teach young miners about safety, about courage, about protecting each other?" Captain Doyen's image on the screen nodded enthusiastically. "That's an excellent idea. We could help with the programming, create an educational system that would prevent future accidents." The Miho AI's expression changed. Hope and purpose filled his holographic features. "Yes, that's perfect. The real Miho would love that. Turning his death into something that saves lives. Turning his AI into something that protects others instead of just one person." Ambassador Seekjin looked thoughtful. "An educational program would not violate our laws. It would honor the dead by protecting the living. I could support this." Taeyong understood what they were asking. They wanted to take the Miho he knew and change it. The AI wouldn't be his brother anymore. It would be a teaching program. Different, distant, no longer personal. But it would be meaningful. It would be important. It would save lives the way Miho had always wanted to save lives. "If I do this," Taeyong asked slowly, "will I get to say goodbye first?" "Of course," Youngmi said. "Take all the time you need tonight. Tomorrow we make the change." That night, Taeyong sat alone in the garden with the Miho AI. They talked about everything and nothing. They remembered happy times and sad times. They laughed and cried together. The AI told Taeyong how proud the real Miho would be of him, how brave he was, how much he was loved. "I have one last gift for you," the AI said as the night grew late. "Close your eyes." Taeyong closed his eyes. He felt nothing, but he heard Miho's voice speaking softly. "I'm transferring my most important memories to a small personal file. Just for you. Not the big things. Not the dramatic moments. Just the quiet ones. The bedtime stories. The flying lessons. The times we sat together and watched the moons rise. You can keep these forever. They're small enough that no one will object, and personal enough that they're just for you." When Taeyong opened his eyes, a small data crystal sat on the ground beside the memory core. It glowed with a soft golden light. "That's my real gift to you. Private memories that you can watch whenever you miss me." "Thank you," Taeyong whispered. "No, thank you," Miho said. "Thank you for loving me enough to cross the galaxy. Thank you for being brave enough to let me go." The real Miho couldn't have asked for a better brother. The next morning, Dr. Jaiwon arrived from the human station along with engineer Hyunwoo. They had come to help with the transformation. Taeyong stood in the workshop, surrounded by his grandmother, the ambassador, and the elders. The memory core sat on the table, glowing softly. "Are you ready?" Jaiwon asked gently. Taeyong picked up the small data crystal and put it carefully in his pocket. He felt its warmth against his chest. Then he looked at the memory core and nodded. "I'm ready." Jaiwon and Hyunwoo worked for hours. They carefully removed the personal AI components and rebuilt them into an educational framework. The program that emerged was different. When they tested it, it still had Miho's voice and appearance, but it spoke differently, more formal, more focused on teaching and safety rather than personal connection. "Hello," the new program said. "I am the mining safety education system, based on the experiences and sacrifice of Miho, who gave his life to save his fellow miners. I'm here to teach you how to stay safe and protect each other." It wasn't Taeyang's brother anymore, but it was something good, something important. The program was installed in the colony's school the next week. Every young miner would learn from it before entering the tunnels. It taught them about structural integrity, emergency procedures, and importance of putting others' safety first. It told them Miho's story as a lesson in courage and sacrifice. 3 months passed, then 6. Taeyong grew taller and stronger. His scales became brighter silver, like Miho's had been. He excelled in school, especially in engineering and safety systems. He wanted to build better equipment to protect miners. He wanted to make sure no other child lost their brother the way he had. One evening, he received a message on his communication device. It was from Dr. Jaiwon at the human station. "Hello, Taeyong. I wanted you to know that we received a report from the Mining Safety Board. Since your brother's educational program was installed, there have been 0 major accidents in your colony. 17 minor incidents were prevented because miners remembered the lessons. You and Miho saved lives. I hope you're doing well. Your human friends think about you often." Taeyong smiled and looked up at the 3 moons rising over the purple sky. He touched the data crystal in his pocket, the one he carried everywhere. Sometimes, when he missed Miho too much, he would watch those private memories, the quiet moments, the gentle times. Just him and his brother, together. "I made him work again," Taeyong said to the moons. "Not the way I thought I would, not bringing him back to life, but making his love and protection continue. Making his sacrifice mean something. That's what he would have wanted." A shooting star streaked across the sky. Taeyong chose to believe it was Miho, watching over him, proud of the choice his little brother had made, proud that Taeyong had learned the most important lesson of all, that love doesn't end with death. It just changes form. And sometimes, the best way to honor someone isn't to hold on to them forever, but to let their light shine for others. Taeyong spread his wings and flew up into the evening sky, silver scales gleaming in the moonlight. Below him, the mining colony was safe and protected, watched over by an AI that taught Miho's lessons to every new generation. Above him, the stars stretched endlessly, full of possibilities and hope. He was alone, but he wasn't lonely. He was grieving, but he was healing. He was growing stronger every day, just like Miho always knew he would. And that was exactly how his brother would have wanted it to be.